All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great example to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake of believers, the listeners who may have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right. And what I want to, just walking in the spirit, want to get into a few things I've been meditating on as I've been riding around today, doing a little work. And just want to dress in the spirit, because as we continue, to be developed, in the spirit, it's always, to reflect, and talk about, particular things, that the body, is going through. Because the majority of the fight, that we have within this faith, is amongst ourselves, within the mind. It's always a war in the mind, all of us coming, from different walks of life. We've done things, that have been completely contrary to the scriptures, But at the end of the day, we have to understand, Yahweh Shai made that sacrifice so we will have a chance, to be cleansed by the word in this time, within this grace period, And it's important that we utilize this grace period to continue, to be developed, in the spirit, as men, and women of the faith. Now, Yahweh Shai, he dealt amongst those, that wasn't experts in the law. Okay? A lot of times he was teaching, it was to those who wasn't experts in the law, because, back then, everyone didn't have, the scrolls in their household. That's why the scribes and Pharisees, they was looked at, and pretty much put on a pedestal, because they had access to the scrolls and they was experts, and doctors in the law. Okay? So our people was pretty much, subjugated to their teachings. And that's why Yahweh Shai, when he came, he was rebuking them, because it was being, unbalanced. Okay? They was being overwhelming, trying to beat Jake, in the head with the law. And Jake was in captivity. Just like we're in captivity, man. And that's how it's the same spirits coming back. Those men who beat you in the head with the law while not keeping it, which Yahweh Shai, he mentioned that. Matter of fact, let me get that. That's Matthew. All right. When you get the book of Matthew, all right. There's a few of them. I want to say 23. Let me get that in 23. And that's when Yahweh Shai, when he came, his main emphasis was teaching and rebuking the leadership of Israel. Okay? And as you can see today, you have a lot of Israelites, doing the same thing, all right, that the wicked scribes and Pharisees was doing, which they would put themselves up as great teachers, but the people wasn't being cultivated. The people, that there wasn't an atmosphere where the believers could really be developed, because they was always getting beat, with the law, which the law is a beautiful thing. And, we go into the law, because we go into why, certain laws were in place. But when you read Matthew 23:1, it said, then spake Yahweh Shai to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. Okay? And we have the same thing today. Okay? You see men telling you to keep the law with dreads in the lineup. Okay? You having men telling you to keep the law when there's talks of adultery, okay, within the congregation, man. You know, they're telling you to keep the law, but won't even call on the name of the Lord. Okay, so the same thing that was going on back then is going on now. Yeah, they're telling you right when they telling you not, to eat certain things. The Levitical diet. Okay, they're telling you particular things right, but they're not creating an atmosphere where we can be developed in the spirit. Okay, because under the law, all right, there was a burden to us because we couldn't keep it perfect in the flesh, and we for sure couldn't keep it perfect in captivity. Okay? So Yahweh Shai, like we always go into, he made it doable. Okay? And Yahweh Shai he wasn't amongst, when he was amongst the leadership of Israel, he was basically always cussing their ass out, man. Because they were just unbearable. They were just some unbearable niggas, man. Okay? Just like today. Jake see you coming out of Family Dollar. Where your fringes at, brother? Where your dress at, sister? Where your head wrap, sister? But you can see no one's over there being cultivated. That's why, dealing with Nate, he's able to go into them dumbass breakdowns, okay, and really not get no resistance because they don't know what the hell going on, man. Okay? They just know that they all got coordinated outfits and dresses and head wraps, man, and capes. But they don't really understand what's going on because there's no true cultivation going over there, man. Okay? But under the apostles and elders, you see that, the atmosphere where we can be cultivated, and brothers, we don't make it seem as if we're holier than now. We go through the same afflictions, that you go through, and we address those things, man. You see, we can relate. Brothers are from different backgrounds, been in different scenarios, and so brothers are more relatable, okay, which makes it realistic, man. Okay, like IUIC, and just using them for example, it's like a fairy tale. It's not realistic. The way that they present the word as if it's just some fictional book. Like, nah, the people in the Bible, they had they had shortcomings, man. They had flaws. Okay, you see, and that's why when you go here, let's get Matthew chapter 9. This is Matthew chapter 9, verse 9, and it says, "And Yahweh Shai passed forth from thence." No, I started at 10. And it says, "And it came to pass as Yahweh Shai sat at meat in the house, behold, many publicans and sinners came and sat down with him and his disciples. And when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto his disciples, Why eateth your master with publicans and sinners? But when Yahweh Shai heard that, he said unto them, They that be whole need not a physician, but they that be sick." Okay? And we all right, are sick, in the spirit. You see? We've all been defiled and corrupted by this captivity, man. We always need, and we was all in need of a physician, a healer. Okay? And that's what this word is. It's a healer. But when someone's healing, it has to be an environment where they can heal in. You see? If someone has a torn ACL, okay, well, it takes time. You have to gradually strengthen their wound, and then they can begin to do, get more range of movement. Then eventually, they can walk with a cane, or with crutches. And then eventually they can walk without. And then eventually they can jog, man. Okay? Then eventually they're back at full strength. And this is, all right, the way that Yahweh Shai, came, all right, through what, man? All right, through patience. Yahweh Shai You know, he showed leadership with patience, man. You know, because now we're understanding the why. It's one thing to, you know, try to keep the law, but it's a whole nother different perspective when you understand why. See, we understand why these laws was in place, man. You know, Jake made a big, huge fuss, you know, about the whole Deuteronomy 22 dealing with the rape law. Okay, well, it's a law, it's a protocol. Okay, but as we see, and that's why, you know, with me, I'm always going into black culture and comparing it to our ancient noble culture, okay? Because we come from a noble, okay, a noble standard. You know, when you go into the laws make you noble. It makes you highborn. It makes you a regal people, you know? The brothers can put some of them definitions of that noble, you know, regal, you know? Let's put some of them up there and get into them, all right? But that's how the law makes us, man. But in this society, we've been cultivated to be degenerate, okay? You see how much dysfunction, all right, that this culture that we've been given in this society has produced. So when I compare the two, it's not, you know, to make, you know, you brothers or you sisters feel a certain type of way about the things that, you know, you've done in the past. Nah, man, it's to compare so we can understand why. So we all can understand, okay, why? Okay, why is this law here? What does this law mean? Now we going to the point where we understand why, because we see the results of not keeping certain laws or having laws in place. Okay, and that's part of the healing process when you understand the why. Okay, if you're in business, you know, a lot of successful businessmen become successful because they understand through their mistakes of what not to do and why not to do it. Okay, a lot of businessmen, they begin learning a lot of lessons by knowing, you know, by their mistakes, so they know what not to do. And now they're so savvy in business because they understand why not to do this and why not to do that, man. And that's the healing process that we're going through as a people, okay? As we're understanding why not to do this, why not to do that, man. And it should be clicking and making sense, you know? And as we're healing, that's going to make us appreciate, you know, the reset that the Lord is going to do, man. You know, because as men, like I said, we played a part in forwarding a culture that caused dysfunction amongst our people, man. You know, like as young men coming up, we just, you know, dealing with a lot of different women, hopping a lot of different women with no intent to marry. Now, those women, you know, some of those women are people wise, man. You know, and we played a part in defiling them, you know. So the Lord is all about balance, just like King David. King David made, you know, he committed those sins, which were worthy of death. The Lord didn't kill him, but he still had to live with particular consequences of those of their sin. Okay, of those sins. You know, that's why the first son, you know, that Bathsheba had died. Okay, Absalom, you know, David's son, you know, whom he loved, okay, rebelled against him to the point to where he had to be, you know, put to death by Joab. Okay, so King David, you know, he was spared, all right, but he had to deal with consequences for what he did. You know, he had to live and dwell in those consequences, man. You know, and we go through these phases, man. Okay, because just as we, you know, like I say, defile women and put them back there in circulation as men, so now as we're married, we got to live with damn. You know, other men have been, you know, with my woman, so it's like damn. But that's what we put in the earth, man. You know, we reaping what we sown. So now we have to saturate in the shit, but it's going to make us appreciate the reset that the Lord is going to come with, man. When we all get new bodies, you know, you're going to appreciate, you're going to understand why, okay, this is why, sex is meant for marriage. Okay? This is why, all right, virtue of a woman is important. See, we understand these things because, like I say, as we, you know, analyze and we always go into, black culture, degenerate niggas, the modern woman, that's because we know why these cultures can't exist. You see, Elder Apostle Ariamla, he was in his live stream, he said, look, the Lord is hammering out leaders, okay? The Lord is hammering out leaders, for the world to come. You see? And brothers, we have to understand these things. A lot of these lessons, they hurt. A lot of these things, like, we think about it and it hurt. It's vexing, you see? But we have to learn these hard lessons so we can understand the why. Because guess what, brothers? When you brothers are ruling over your province, over your realm in the kingdom, okay, you're not gonna allow a culture of single mothers. You're not gonna allow street niggas, okay, to be a culture in your realm, because you done went through the results of that. We done lived through niggas, man. We done lived through an era of single mothers, man. So now, as brothers getting ready to rule with Yahushua, we gonna understand why. We ain't gonna have to. It ain't gonna have to be explained why this can't be or why they can't. Like, nah, this shit can't exist. Okay, hot girl summers and nah, this shit can't exist, man. Okay, hey, we're understanding these things, man. All right, so I want to get this. I don't want to make this too long. I end it here, matter of fact. Just some things I want to, walk, and talk on. Let's get this in Isaiah. Yeah, man. It's Isaiah 1. All right, this is Isaiah 1 and 25. And it says, and I will turn my hand upon thee and purely purge away thy dross and take away all thy tin. Okay? And dross and tin are unwanted impurities, within within precious metals, within silver, gold. Okay? Dross and tin will be the things that will be burnt out in the furnace. The refiner's furnace, because we're being refined. And we catch this hell, which is the hell is likened to an affliction. Okay? That's why you go here. Matter of fact, let's get another one. In Isaiah 40, I believe it's 48 and 10. All right, the book of Isaiah 48 and 10. It says, behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. You see? So we're being refined through afflictions. Even the affliction that's in our mind. Like, damn. We think about certain things and, and just as a man, because, like, I was thinking today, like, man, I wouldn't want to commit adultery on no man, like, no matter what nation it is, man. Because that's a torment to a man. Just to think about the fact his woman, done got popped by another man. Like, damn. I was just thinking about that today. Like, that's one of the last things that I would want to do, is commit adultery, man. You see? So it's like the Lord is hammering, these things into us so we can understand the why we're being healed, because we all, are being healed, man. So, as we're being healed by this word, the Lord is taking us through afflictions so we can be refined as judges, man. As we're going to go back to Isaiah, 1 and 21. Let's get this real quick. It's the book of Isaiah, all right, chapter 1, verse 26. It says, and I will restore thy judges is at the first, and thy counselors is at the beginning. Okay? So in order for us to be restored to judges, we have to go through that affliction and be refined in the mind. Our minds have to be refined, man. So it's gonna be times where, it's gonna be bitter. You know, you're gonna go through phases of bitterness, phases of irritation, phases of being frustrated. Okay? As the scripture say, you increase in wisdom, you increase in sorrow, man. You know, much wisdom, is much grief. Okay, and grief goes into depression, man. Now we don't just be depressed like to the point to where we're unproductive, to where we go into anxiety and all those different things, man. But you have those times when you like, you gotta take that deep breath, man. And you kind of, be, humble. I wouldn't say down, it's like a humbling, man. Because when we was out doing our thing, we gloried, in being in the lust. So the Lord humbles us, with grief, and really lets it settle in, he lets it settle in, you know, so we can have an understanding, man. But that's part of the refining process, man. So reading on, it says, and I will restore thy judges at the first, and thy counselors is at the beginning. Afterward, thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her coverts with righteousness, man. Okay? So we're being restored back to that status of nobility. Okay? Because see, we gloried in living like peasants, man. You know? Eating any goddamn thing, stealing, robbing, adultery. See, that's a life of peasantry, man. You see? Glorying in women, defile women. We thought we was doing something great because, in the world, in nigga culture, it's all about, oh, that nigga got hoes. Yeah, Dante, that nigga there got all the hoes, but we ain't think like, damn, they hoes. Just even glorying in that, that was a peasant mind frame, man. Okay? The women, glorifying and in their sexual skills. Okay, that's a peasant, mind frame, But now, as we think about legacies, inheritance, stability, houses, we're being refined in our thinking, man. Because Esau taught us the glory in being a peasant, man. Okay, not just a peasant, but a peasant with no integrity, man. It's a lot. I think about it now. It was a lot of the people I grew up with, older cousins and, uncles, and they will be, popping their best friends, old lady, man, like, damn, like these guys hanging out and shit, but then he popping, you be like, damn, everybody knows, like, damn, that was a real degenerate, low life culture that we came from, man. Okay, it was very base the way we thought. Okay, what women used to look for in the men, it was very base. Okay, what we used to look for in women, it was extremely base, man. Okay, we we had no wisdom. All right, in the way we used to live, man, it was damn near like beasts, man. Just go for what you know. Okay, so that's the point. I don't want to make this too long. All right, just want to get into those things. But Lord will, you brothers and you few sisters edified. Till next time, I say Shalom, Kwame Yashala, Abba, DTA soon, Shalom.